कोई नहीं आज ऑनलाइन. गरिमा इज देयर. वैसे कौशल इज अपसेंट ना. कौशल कर. आंचल, दिव्या. अच्छा चलिए. आंचल, दिव्या ये सब आए. उससे पहले स्टार्ट विद, जब तक आएंगे तब तो हम टॉपिक बेसिक से समझ लेते हैं. आज हमको शुरू करना है स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट. अगर हम स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट को समझने की कोशिश करें तो इसको कंप्लीट करने में आई विल बी टेकिंग अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 12 क्लासेस, है ना. 12 क्लासेस मतलब 24 आवर्स. द टॉपिक्स दैट विल बी कवरिंग इन these 12 classes will be, we'll try to understand the purpose or policy of this law. तो सबसे पहले we'll try to understand policy and the purpose of law. Apart from this, we will here only we will study the preamble and also the application. So while we are doing the policy and the purpose, there only we'll try to understand the preamble of the act and the purpose or the application, where it applies, in what situations this act applies. Thereafter we'll try to understand recovery of possession in specific relief act. There only we will discussing section 5 and section 6, section 7 and section 8. Section 5 and 6 deal with the recovery of possession of immovable property. Recovery of possession of immovable property. Whereas 7 and 8 deal with recovery of possession of movable property. Once we are done with this, we will be covering how to obtain. We will be covering how to obtain specific performance, है ना. So what is the rule of obtaining the specific performance? जब हम ये करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो we'll try to understand what is specific performance, when allowed specific performance. We'll try to when allowed, how to allow it, when not allowed, who all can get specific performance, who all cannot get specific performance. So basically we will be targeting upon section 10, 11, 14, 16 and 20. ठीक है. So we'll try to understand the provisions of 10, 11, 16, 20. Thereafter we'll be covering the topic of declaration decree. Declaration decree, that is section 34 and 35. We will try to cover meaning, है ना, process, है ना, when allowed. Once we are done with this, we will be covering injunction, or basically we will be focusing upon perpetual injunction, and mandatory injunction. So we will be doing perpetual injunction or mandatory injunction. This is section 36 to 41. Apart from this, we also focus upon other types of injunction. Other types of injunctions. So this is the most important part that we'll be covering. Apart from this, I will be going through some important section. That is first section related to rectifications of instrument, recession of instrument, recession of instrument, and last cancellation of instrument. I will be explaining all these, right? So I will be explaining all these provisions, but I will not be dictating upon these green portion. So I will not be dictating, but yes, they will be important and you will be making notes upon it. Okay, but I will tell you how to make notes upon it. This is how we'll be covering all 12 classes. If you ask me important books, on SRA, there are so many books on a specific relief act. For example, Pranjpe, for example, Mullah and Polak, Banerjee. Fourth, SR Manning. You can Mullah and Polak. If you want to go any of the book, all 4 books are good. If you wish to go with a book. SR Manning. There are so many other books also. Okay, you can prefer any one, but if you want to prefer, I do not say कि आपको पढ़ना है, but अगर आपको पढ़ने का फिर भी मन है, you want to go with a book, these are the most authentic book that you can have. ठीक है? चलिए, with this idea, let us go into specific relief act. है ना? All of you have a Bear Act. Before getting into the Bear Act, the name of the act is the specific Relief Act. Before getting into this, let us analyze please, any person having 2 Bear Acts on the table, एक पीछे शेयर करो. Before getting into the Bear Act, let us analyze the meaning of this act. What do you mean by the word specific? What do you mean by the word specific? The word specific means particular. And what do you mean by the word relief? Relief means a remedy. है ना? Relief is a form of a remedy. So basically in this law, what we are going to study is that the plaintiff is going to ask a particular remedy. In this law talk about particular remedy. When I say talk about particular remedies, what I am making you understand. If I talk about, let us understand the meaning of word. Let us analyze the word remedy or relief first, or then we'll come to the specific. ठीक है, तो we'll try to understand what do you mean by the word relief, है ना, and then we'll come to a specific, और we'll उसके बाद उसको combine करके we'll try to understand what is a specific relief. तो if I talk about remedy, or I can say relief, so basically in any law relief can be of two type. Reliefs majorly can be of two type. One is positive reliefs and another is negative reliefs. If I say positive reliefs or negative relief, what do you mean by positive reliefs or positive remedies? Positive reliefs are those reliefs in which court asks anyone to do something, है ना, court asks any individual to do something. अभी हम स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट के अंदर नहीं जा रहे हैं. We'll try to understand and we are trying to dissect this definition or this word specific relief, और उस dissection के बाद we will move into the main section. तो वो they saying court positive reliefs are those reliefs which court where court asks an individual to do something, whereas negative reliefs are those reliefs where court asks not to do something. That means if court says A, please do the act, this is positive relief. If court says A, please do not do the act, this is negative relief. What I am making you understand now, under specific relief, what we are going to see, we are going to see that court is directing an individual to do or not to do something. तो specific relief के अंदर हम क्या पढ़ने वाले हैं? Court is going to direct individual to do or not to do something. अब important ये नहीं है they asked to do something or not to ask to do. What is important is they are saying this must be specific, the relief must be of a specific nature. What do you mean by the specific? ये to do or not to do जो कैसा है वो कैसा होना चाहिए? The act of doing or act of not doing must be of a nature which is specific. Specific I says in a general sense is a particular, or I can say in species. In species. That is under specific relief act, the relief must be in species. So what I am making you understand, in a specific relief act, relief must be in species. That is, plaintiff can ask relief only in species. Court can award relief only in species. General sense में समझ रहा हूँ. I am not going into the Bear Act. I am not going with the terms and conditions of the Bear Act. Simple meaning. अब what do you mean when I say in species? What does the meaning word in species shows? अगर हम इन स्पीसीज को समझने की कोशिश करें कि है क्या चीज़, एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि इन स्पीसीज से मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ. Let it be let's A and B have a contract. Let's take a simple, very simple example. A and B have a contract. A breaches the contract. B want to take an action. You tell me what possible रेमेडीज आर अवेलेबल टू द बी. बी क्या क्या चीजें क्लेम कर सकता है? बी के साथ ब्रीच हुआ, एग्जैक्टली, टेल मी व्हाट रेमेडीज. वेरी गुड. कॉम्पनसेशन, कॉम्पनसेशन, वेरी गुड. इफ इट इज अ गुड केस ऑफ अ गुड तो रिटर्न ऑफ गुड. ओके. रेस्टिट्यूशन आई कैन राइट, है ना, वी कैन राइट रेस्टिट्यूशन. Restitution, it can ask for injunction, it can ask for any other damages. All are these all are reliefs, these all are reliefs. But when I'm saying relief in species, when I'm saying relief in species, what I'm trying to make you understand that A अगर action लेना चाहता है, when A ask, when B ask court to issue the performance of contract, only. When B says I don't want anything, I want this contract to be performed, this all, the act itself must be performed, then it is known as relief in species, है ना. We won't use that word specific performance right now because हम उसमें पढ़े नहीं हैं. Obvious, you are right. Yes, you are absolutely right. ठीक है. तो that is when party seeks the particular act to be performed, then it is called relief in species. Relief in species, same act, nothing else. Specific relief act में you cannot claim anything, you will be claiming only the act itself. That is specific, your relief is specific, your relief is in species, your relief is particular to the breach. So whatever is breached is to be performed. जो breach हुआ है वही perform होगा. For example, let us take another example. एक example लेते हैं, clear होगा. Contract के अलावा कुछ और example pick करते हैं. Suppose these are the houses of A. A is the owner of the house. A is the owner of the house. 1, 2, 3. A have a contract to sell house number 2 to B. A have a contract, or B have entered in an agreement with A that he will be selling house number 2 to the B. What is happening? A wants B to take house number 1 or number 3, as number 2 is no more available to him. No more can be made available. What now? What A is saying, please take house number 1 or house number 2 as house number, or house number 3 as house number 2 is not available due to any reason. What? When B can get house number 2 specifically, and B can claim that I want house number 2 only, मुझे हाउस नंबर 2 ही चाहिए और कुछ नहीं. दिस इज नॉन एज रिलीफ इन स्पीसीज. दिस इज रिलीफ इन स्पीसीज. तो व्हाट स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ इज डीलिंग विद? स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ इज डीलिंग विद दिस टाइप ऑफ मैटर्स. कौन में किस में रिलीफ मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा वो बात की बात है. कितना रिलीफ मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा बात की बात है, बट अंडर स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट you will be claiming only and only the relief in species, that particular thing, that particular cause of action to be performed, चाहे वो नेगेटिव हो चाहे वो पॉजिटिव। फॉर एग्जांपल एक और ले लेते हैं, एक और एग्जांपल लेते हैं और क्लियर होगा, नहीं क्लियर होगा तो फिर बताओ। लेट अस पिक अप अनदर एग्जांपल, लेट इस हमारी बिल्डिंग का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। This is Infusion Cafe. This is Dream Setu. This is Zia Judicials and this is 4. This is how our building is. Suppose this Infusion Cafe is playing music in very large sound, है ना, causing nuisance and disturbance to Zia Judicials. अब what is happening? This first floor individual is playing music at the highest volume, which is causing a disturbance to the classes of Zia Judicials. अब Zia Judicials want to take an action. What actions I can take? I can claim damages. Yes. Under torts. No. I can also claim some penal action. Pollution, noise pollution, anything. Penal action. Third thing is, I can claim what? Music to be stopped. And I can claim music to be stopped. जब मैं बोलूँगा music to be stopped, what is this? This is relief in species. This is known as relief in species. तो जब हम स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट की बात करने वाले हैं 1963 की, we are going to talk about relief in species, whether positive or negative, it doesn't matter. What you are claiming is positive or negative, doesn't matter. I am suppose this is negative relief. I am stopping someone to do something. I am asking court to stop. Negative relief. I am asking A to perform. House number 2 only. Positive relief. But कैसा होगा? In species, that particular act of the defendant which he is breaching must be performed or must not be performed. मतलब समझ में आया? स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट का यूज क्या है वो समझ में आया नहीं है? प्लीज, हम इसमें पढ़ने क्या वाले हैं ये समझ में आया? क्लियर हुआ? चलिए, विद दिस माइंड सेटअप लेट अस गो इनटू द एक्ट, है ना? प्रीएम्बल पढ़ते हैं। यहां तक किसी को कोई सवाल है तो पूछ लीजिए। कोई सवाल नहीं? हाँ, तभी तो बताया स्पेसिफिक वर्ड का मतलब ही इन स्पीसीज, इट इज पर्टिकुलर, रिलीफ इन स्पीसीज, दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग ओनली। और अभी ये डिक्लेयर भी किया हुआ, वी विल स्टडी दी सेक्शंस, तो हम देखेंगे दैट इट इज बीइंग डिक्लेयर्ड आल्सो बाय द लॉज, दैट व्हाट यू मीन बाय द रिलीफ इन स्पीसीज। चलिए एक मिनट